So back in 2011, four founders in Berlin saw an opportunity. Food delivery was fragmented, local, and it was ripe for disruption. But here's what made them different. While everyone was fighting over New York or San Francisco, this startup delivery hero went global from day one. The CEO had a vision that almost seemed kind of insane. He wanted to win emerging markets before anyone else. So they launched in countries most Silicon Valley VCs couldn't find on a map. Pakistan, Jordan, South Korea, places where local competitors didn't have billion-dollar war chests, but did have hundreds of millions of hungry customers. By 2017, they took the company public at a $4.4 billion valuation. And they later went on an acquisition spree that could easily have competed with those in private equity. So this is the story of a seasoned startup, four co-founders who started a company called Delivery Hero that later got acquired by Uber. All right, so Delivery Hero, what is the product exactly? So Delivery Hero isn't just one app, it's a portfolio of local champions. In Asia, they own Food Panda. In the Middle East, they own a company called Tablet. And Tablet actually dominates with over 60% market share in places throughout the UAE. In Latin America, they own Pedosio Ya, which is a household name out there. And in Europe, they own a company called Glovo Connects, which connects you to every restaurant and grocery stores near you. The whole goal for Delivery Hero was to become a multi-brand company. The multi-brand strategy let them adapt to local cultures while building centralized tech infrastructure. Behind the scenes, the numbers were staggering, as you can expect: 50 plus countries, 45,000 employees, and a network so vast that they're delivering food in places where Google Maps barely has even seen data. Now, before this deal, Delivery Hero was already processing tens of thousands of billions of dollars in annual gross bookings. Combined with Uber Eats' existing 49 markets, we're talking about a unified platform operating in 99 countries with $236 billion in combined gross bookings. So that's not just scale at this point. That's a global monopoly on a third-party food delivery infrastructure. Now, this startup has been here for a while, right? But let's talk about the numbers. So the acquisition, the price was $14.8 billion in cash. So about $41 per share, because Delivery Hero is a publicly traded company. But here's the twist. So Uber already owned approximately 25% of Delivery Hero. Because of making this offer, they now own 100%. So Uber has actually been accumulating shares strategically, positioning themselves for exactly this moment. The deal valued Delivery Hero at roughly, back in 2017, I think the IPO was $4 billion. So that initial 2017 IPO gave those early investors a massive payday after 15 years of global expansion. So for context, Uber paid $2.65 billion for Postmate in 2020. This deal is nearly 6 times larger. It's Uber's biggest acquisition ever, and one of the largest in consumer tech history. And the question is, why did Uber decide to make this acquisition? So of course, you already know timing is everything. Food delivery has consolidated rapidly post-pandemic. The winners are getting bigger, the losers are dying. DoorDash dominates the US, but has almost zero international presence. Deliveroo is struggling in Europe, which is another alternative, but only in Europe. Instacart is focused on groceries. So this was Uber's moment to go from a regional player to a global infrastructure. Now, by acquiring Delivery Hero, Uber isn't just buying market share. They're buying the entire playbook for emerging markets. So Tablet, which is out there in the Middle East, is a dominant company out there. Food Panda in Asia networks is a dominant company out there. All of these different umbrella companies underneath Delivery Hero that are within 99 countries are killing it. And what's extremely impressive is that these aren't easy markets to crack down on. These are countries that don't have the complete infrastructure or technology. But for some strange reason, Delivery Hero was able to do it dozens and dozens of times throughout the entire world. And it didn't happen easy, of course, right? So Delivery Hero spent 15 years trying to figure it out. So this acquisition is essentially Uber paying for that 15 years of expertise and expansion throughout the world. So for the founder, not the founder, for the CEO of Uber, Dara, this is the end game, because the global logistics layer for food, just like Amazon built for e-commerce, and with DoorDash trapped in North America, Uber just won the international war before most people realize what is happening. And this is one of those stories where it's just like, what's next for the startup? And it's one of those interesting stories because the founding team of Delivery Hero has been doing this for the past 15 years. And now they experience this massive exit. They had two exits, technically. They had an IPO, and then they got acquired within their public market by Uber. So two transactions within 15 years. So what happens next is that you can expect to see the founding team, the founder of Delivery Hero, join Uber and immediately start to work on the integration of their systems, work on the risk and control of making sure that all of the global economics and the global controls are managed and mitigated. And one of the biggest things that is going to happen is that these 45,000 employees that are within Delivery Hero are going to have to be integrated into the Uber's ecosystem. And for the consumers, for the users that had allowed Delivery Hero to become this $14 billion valuation, this $14 billion company, these 99 countries where these users reside are in good hands because their food delivery app is now going to be coming and joining the largest on-demand logistics network on earth, being Uber. And for competitors, I don't want to be the guy to say it, but it looks like it's not looking too good. Because like I said, this acquisition isn't taking control of North America. It isn't taking control of Korea. This acquisition gives Uber full control and expansion of delivery across the world. So competitors out there, what is there? DoorDash, all these other competitors within the US, it's not looking too good. They're going to have to really double down and focus on cities specifically or states, because the numbers that's about to happen within the next couple quarters for Uber is going to look pretty crazy. All right, so that is it for today's acquisition. We have this startup that has been around for quite some time. Two acquisitions that happened within the past 15 years, one being an IPO, another one is an IPO to an acquiring asset for Uber. $14 billion, which is absolutely insane, but extremely impressive for a team to stick around for that long. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think Uber is really going to take full control globally, or do you feel like there's gaps in which they haven't really seen just yet? In my opinion, Delivery Hero is across the entire, not even nation, it's crazy to say, it's not across the nation. They're across the entire world, and they have dominance in these major countries. So for Uber to be able to have this as their new asset, I think it's going to be really good for the numbers and for the expansion that they're trying to do as well. So going beyond ride sharing app, they touched a little bit about their delivery app, and now they're going to go across the entire world and making sure that that happens. So pretty big news for Uber. If you have any thoughts, comments, add it down to the comment section. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Peace.